The ocean has been everything to me since I was very, very young. I think I learned how to swim before I could walk. I grew up in New York on Long Island. We grew up right on the water. We had a pool in our backyard. I wouldn't swim in the pool by myself at 7 or 8 years old because I would think that Jaws would be able to launch itself from the bay, land in the pool, and eat me, or burrow through the ground like a tunnel and punch through the pool liner and get me. So, you know, I've had a very healthy fear of sharks since I was very young. My dad taught me how to surf and had delusions of grandeur of being a pro surfer. So when I was time to go to college, my mom had lived in Huntington Beach for 7 years, so she supported me coming out here, and we came out for like the spring insight or whatever, and there was, you know, like 7 waves on the school campus. It was 80 in February. There were people riding bikes, chicks in bikinis, and I was like, I'm not going to NYU. That was in the year 2000, and then I graduated in 04 and somehow figured out a way to never leave Santa Barbara. You know, I always felt like a bit of a fish out of water. Just being from the East Coast, coming to the West Coast, people thought I was nuts, which I kind of am, but you know. I had the opportunity to actually buy my dad's boat and ship it across the country. Basically, the boat opened up a whole new world for my friends and I. We just went 0 to 60, you know. And I remember being out there in the early days of getting the boat, and I remember saying, you know what? Santa Barbara finally feels like home to me. So fast forward to December 21st, 2019, Jeremy and me were going out to the spot that's like the best spot. I mean, the night before, I got very little sleep because I had that kind of like excitement. So I think I picked Jeremy up at 5:30 in the morning. We left the harbor just when the sunrise was starting, and it was absolutely amazing. It was just one of the most beautiful sunrises I've ever seen, and it was about a 2-hour ride. So Jeremy Howard's a 20-year commercial fisherman and urchin diver. He had 10 years as a lifeguard, so he really knew what to do and how to handle himself. We were just like freaking out, looking at each other, just going like, oh, it's on, you know, like it's just on. I like to anchor my boat on the lineup, and at this spot, you can just lose your boat. So I'm the new guy out there. I just park where everyone else was, and it was, I mean, 300 yards of a paddle. If I knew then what I know now, I might have made a different decision. We put on our wetsuits and got out there and just surfed for like 3 hours. It was amazing. There was a handful of other guys coming and going. And then we paddled back to the boat, you know, high-fived and had lunch and then took a nap. And we woke up and no one was there. All the other boats had left. And the waves were like even better. Every surfer's dream. Perfect waves, national park is the backdrop. We're out on my boat, you know, my friend's gonna take photos, he's cheering me on, like, it's like the dream. Like, I worked my whole life to get to this exact moment. Some parts are kind of struck from my memory, and other parts I can break down by the millisecond, you know, and there's all kinds of feelings and emotions that range from as terrified as anyone could ever be to kind of like awe and like surreal, dreamlike stuff. It came up from below and behind, and it hit me like a torpedo. I mean, it was literally like just an explosion. I mean, I knew right away what was happening. I said to myself, like, I am getting attacked by a large great white shark. And then I also had the immediate thought after that, which was like, really? Like, are you kidding me? Like, really? The white shark took me out of the water about 5 feet with me in its mouth. And now it's driving me down underwater. And he said I was gone for about 7 seconds, like just gone. That part I remember to like the millisecond. I mean, being underwater for 6, 7 seconds felt like years of my life. I don't remember how I got back to the surface. I remember just Michael Phelps going for gold, kicking and screaming back to the boat as fast as possible. And Jeremy was cheering me, like, back to the boat, like, come on, buddy, you can make it. He said that when I resurfaced, I was full deer in headlights. Like, I was just, like, frozen. And my brain must have just struck that from my memory because that sounds absolutely terrifying. I finally got back to the boat and he grabbed me and pulled me to the back of the boat, and he was just like cool as a cucumber. I mean, all of that 20 years of experience, he just went into full first responder mode. And so he took 2 surf leashes off his boards and just tied like the tightest tourniquet ever. And then he got on the VHF radio, you know, Mayday, 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 Jean Marie, shark attack victim, gave the GPS coordinates, and he comes out and he's like, hey, he's like, they want me to get underway. You know, they want me to start the boat and start moving to make up distance. You know, I'm just thinking to myself, like, whatever I can do to stay conscious, that's what I'm gonna do, because I just knew that things would get worse if I went unconscious. I mean, I was just fully having the conversation with God, like, how does this work, God? I don't know if I was about to go unconscious or if I was literally like dying, but I was just having that like transcending kind of tranquil, serene, like moving on to the next phase kind of thing. And then all of a sudden this like seagull came in my field of vision and like snapped me out of like the whole beam me up Scotty thing, and it just like took my attention and just kept tracking the boat for like a solid 10, 15 minutes. And, you know, in hindsight for me, I think that was my mom, who I lost like 10 years ago, we lost, and kind of showing up as a guardian angel, you know. That lasted until it didn't. All of a sudden the seagull like flew away and I'm like, that's it, I'm dead. You know, like it's all over. But within a minute of that, I heard like, it was a chopper, you know, it was the Coast Guard helicopter. It took them an hour to get to us. The rescue diver came down like a champion, and then the basket came down. And he sticks the blood pressure thing on me and they're taking vitals or whatever. And that's the moment where I remembered I had my phone. I pulled it out and I texted my wife and I said something like, hey honey, I just got attacked by a great white shark out at the islands. I'm in the helicopter. I'm on my way to Cottage Hospital. I need to see your face. I'm really scared. But don't worry, I'm gonna be okay. And that last sentence, you know, that's the one where all of the adrenaline started wearing off, like all the shock started setting in. I knew I was gonna be somewhat safe, and I had like one of the most emotional breakdowns I've ever had, like just uncontrollably crying inside the helicopter. You know, part of that was mourning. My whole life I built up to this moment, and for 2 months I was living my dream, and all my friends were living our dreams, like taking my boat to the islands and surfing and fishing and diving, and it was fading in the horizon. That was it. It was all over. I'm never going back here. I'm never surfing again. And after that moment, the only time that I had that moment again was when I was in the theater at the Santa Barbara Film Festival watching the premiere of your movie, The Delicacy. I knew there would be some stuff about Jimmy in there, and I knew his story, but I had no idea like the level you were gonna go to and some of the footage I saw.
Okay, here we are with Jimmy Robinson on the Florentina Marie. Is that right? Florentia Marie.
But I remember sitting in the audience of your movie, and as soon as I saw that, the same 10 minutes of just pure breakdown. And like to the point where I was like covering my eyes, and the lady next to me like put her hand on my arm and just held my arm, like human to human. It was like a really, really powerful moment. You know, getting to see that movie, I think it was like the finality of my recovery up to that point, you know? And I'm just super grateful to have met you guys and really grateful that you made that movie. I think it's just really special, and the way you made it and who you made it with, and I'm just thankful to be connected in any way. As I'm walking down the stairs, this is what I see. 25 years ago.
All right, here we are at Channel Islands again. This will be my first official surf since the December 21st shark attack. Just so happens that it's gonna be out of the islands, why not?
Yeah, that's me. How was that?
It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Now I feel reborn.